95-71. Colorado improves to 6-1 with the win over Fort Lewis tonight. Ryan, this was a game where we were starting to get concerned again about this team's defense. In the first half, Fort Lewis shoots almost 55%, but Colorado comes out in the second half much better, limits them to 10 of 30 shooting in the second half.
Yeah, you can always tell kind of how the defense was based on Tad Boyle's mood, and you don't want to say he was thrilled by any means, but he kind of said, we're okay with them making shots over hands, and they did have 6 layups in the first half, but overall I think he was fairly pleased, and he said that it was a tale of two halves, and they turned it on in the second half. And Josh Scott kind of echoed that by saying, there weren't any adjustments made in the second half. Guys just kind of started to take it upon themselves, take it a little more seriously. And it's going to bother the heck out of fans to see it continue to happen. But, you end up winning by, 24 points, you'll be happy.
Josh Scott with 24 points, 15 rebounds. They were strong on the boards, as you would expect against this Fort Lewis team. 17 offensive rebounds as a team. And then offensively on the perimeter again, it's Josh Fortune and Trayshawn Fletcher again successful from three-point range. It almost seems like this three-point shooting is a little bit contagious on this team. Yeah,
and I think, it's great to see that this offense can still put up. In the 90s when George King doesn't necessarily bring his A game, I think that's extremely encouraging regardless of the opponent. If you can get two or three of those guys on any given night, you're going to be happy. And so, Tad loved to point out the fact that, those guys, Fortune and Fletch only had 1 turnover and I think 13 assists. That's going to work. That's going to work for you. And the three-point shooting, I think there's something to that. You see the ball going in for other guys. It kind of gives you confidence to take a shot. So as long as this team continues to shoot from the perimeter, they're going to keep putting up points, and that's going to make people happy.
Kind of a strange game in the sense that this was a game that counts towards Colorado's record this season, but doesn't affect their RPI. And then Fort Lewis, this doesn't count on their season record. And this is a decent RMAC school. Of course, they beat Wyoming on the road in another quote-unquote exhibition game.
Yeah, Tad Boyle explained the whole thing to you in the press conference there by saying, this game was played for Bob Hoffman. It was a chance to get him down here, name the lower practice court after him, send him off in his last season as a head coach, and so that kind of answers all your questions on why in the world would they play this game. But it's a tune-up for the Buffs as they go up to Fort Collins on Sunday, and like Tad Boyle said, it's kind of a good preparation for them in terms of the way that Fort Lewis runs offense and the way CSU runs offense. Both teams want to shoot a lot of threes and then dictate their offense off of that, so it kind of works out in a good way for Tad, and I'm sure that was done on purpose.
As always, Tad Boyle keeps it real when asked about kind of the atmosphere that they've been playing in front of at home. Very honest, and he makes it very clear that he wants to thank the fans that are actually showing up to these games, but it has not been a great environment. I'll be honest, I was kind of getting bored during this game, and part of that is because of the energy in the building. It just wasn't really there. Yeah,
it's funny because that wasn't even really my question to Tad. I wanted to ask him if he thinks the players are excited to kind of go play in a hostile environment on Sunday, but he took a chance to make a point that that's obviously been bothering him, and it's true. The attendance in here has been weak. The students have been weak. You're not really getting anyone bringing their A game, and it's led to the loudest thing that happened all night was Brett Brady getting a layup on the other end, and of course that's always great, but you want to have an atmosphere that teams fear, and Colorado once had that, so I think they can get back to it. But I always say the students are the last ones to get the memo that a team is playing, so maybe Tad making a little statement there will get that across to them.
And I thought Tad Boyle said it best when he said, this is a fun basketball team to watch, so the people that aren't coming are really missing out. Obviously a big test, like you talked about, Ryan, up in Fort Collins on Sunday. It's a early start time up there. We've seen this team come out lackadaisical in those type of early starts. You worried about that at all?
I think the environment will kind of raise them up. I think if you need something to wake you up for this game, that's a problem. But I think when they get in there and it's whatever 8,000 strong and it's loud and they've got the Ram noise meter cranking up, I think it'll wake them up, and I think they'll be all right in the end. But man, if they come out flat, CSU has the shooters to get hot early and kind of put the Buffs in a hole. So they can't afford to have one of those Sunday lulls.
All right, again, Colorado over Fort Lewis, 95-71. Signing off from the Coors Event Center.